Welcome to Go Talk Studios. I'm your host, Lionel Lapidos, and here at Go Talk Studios, we bring you real people, real stories, real Sarawak. Now, at 16 years old, he was already selling things to his classmates. At 19, with 30,000 ringgit borrowed from a co-founder's mother, he built one of Kuching's first food trucks from scratch. Today, he runs two businesses, NOMS, an American street food concept, and Peanuts and Anchovies, a modern Malaysian kopitiam known for its nasi lemak. And he does operate across multiple outlets in Kuching, Miri, and Cebu. Avertino Phua doesn't just build a food business. In the early days, he helped convince the authorities to create a licensing framework for food trucks in Kuching that didn't exist at the time, essentially building the table before he could actually sit at it. Avertino, really impressive resume. Welcome to Go Talk Studios.
Hi, thank you for having me here, Lionel.
Hey, man, thank you for taking the time to actually sit down with us. Now, NOMS is a really known brand in Kuching, and I think it's pretty much known in a couple other places at this point because the history of it is interesting. But I don't think people get to actually see who's behind it, right? Like, we don't know the face. So
correct.
Let's start from the very beginning.
Yeah, let's start with that.
All right.
Interesting.
Okay. So, Avertino, when were you born? Where were you born? How many siblings? What was your childhood like?
Yeah, I was born and bred in Kuching. I was born in 1995. I'm the 90 babies. I grew up half of my childhood in an area we call Starport, Sky Garden. And we moved to Kenyalang when I was 13 years old. So we spent about 7 to 10 years in Kenyalang area. Yeah, it was a very good neighborhood, full of, you can see a lot of elderly there, there's a wet market there. So I used to spend most of my time at Kenyalang Market, During the night, I would just go one of the hawker centers, just sit down, have some chats with my friends. I even had my first work in Kenyalang.
Yeah, what were you working as?
I work in a grocery shop.
Okay.
Back in those, I think from 4 when I was 16 years old. Yeah.
So, working at the grocery market. Now, in your bio, as I was doing my research on you, it says that's the first time now you started thinking, okay, I need to start a business. Why? Like, what was going on?
Yeah, I think the wake-up calls happened when I was around that time when I start to work my ass off, I spend 12 hours a day standing at a grocery shop and works almost like 26 days to 28 days a month. And I'm only making 550 ringgit. And why do I recall this so much is because when I got my first salary, I was so happy. That's why I bought my first bicycle for myself. Before I have my own bicycle, I transport to a destination, like I go to school sometimes, or I go to play basketball with my friends. I would take bus. Kenyalang is very famous for a bus station. Yeah, so once I got my bicycle, most of the time I can cycle to anywhere that I wish to go. Yeah, it was a very wonderful moment at time. And my wake-up calls on the importance of money. Well, to me is that money is not everything, but everything needs money. That was my wake-up call that time. And I know that the difficulties, if a person who has not enough, we couldn't afford to have more. I was once represent school for basketball team, and we used to step back after the school hours just to have basketball training. And I remember that time my pocket money per day was only 2 ringgit, 2 to 3 ringgit. So I can only save either I have the first meal in the breakfast or lunch right after school. So every meal was well calculated. I would go to Green Hill to get a kolomi kosong for 2 baht, or I go to Green Hill to take one big portion of chicken rice at 3 ringgit. But there are lovely people there, they treat us students like, you guys are students, we give you more, all these things. Those were the days. So I know the importance of money back in 16 years old. So I know that I got to do something for myself. You know, that time, there's no such thing as a postpaid. It's all prepaid. You know, we want to text some of my friends, we have to spend 10 cents, 20 cents per message, right? So how I got the money to reload my own phone is by getting something to do. So coincidentally, one of our neighbors, they operate a burger stall. So they do sell this, we call it ubi krepek. It's a tapioca crepes. So what I did was I approached the guy. I said, hey, why not I get 20 to 30 packets per day from you, so I could bring this to school and sell it to my friend. Yeah, this is how it started. You know, per packet I will earn 50 cents. For 20 packets, I will easily make about 10 ringgit. Right, or 5 ringgit. Sorry, 5 to 10 ringgit.
Correct.
This way I got my 10 ringgit prepaid card to reload my phone.
And that was it. So the motivation was, I need to be able to reload.
Yeah. You know,
My goodness.
so it all started when I was 16 years old. You know, fast forward a year later, I sit for my SPM. I know that I got to do something about it. You know, I was one of the, I'm not to say top student, but I mean science class, 4 science 1, 5 science 1. But when I was, when I know the wake up calls, I told myself that, you know what, let's just take a pass for the exam.
No, so he's like, I won't sit for the exam.
I will sit for the exam, but I will just tell myself, just go pass.
Oh,
Don't force myself, you know, don't stress myself.
As long as I don't fail.
Yeah, as long as I don't fail, I just go for pass.
That's interesting. So then what were you thinking of? Were you thinking of, okay, I'm going to be a businessman? Or because at that age, right, many people would say, oh, I want to be a doctor, an engineer, etc.
Yeah.
Or what was that in your mind?
You know, that time we used to have this, you know, your ambition, what you want to be when you grow up. My ambition was a doctor, a firefighter, a businessman, and a lawyer. But I know that a lawyer is out for me because I'm not good at talking, you know. I'm not good at arguing cases. So I'm very grateful that in that tree of my ambition, one of it is a business person. So I knew that this is my calling, you know. Being an entrepreneur or business person, you must have, one of the criteria is to be able to influence people, being a leader to them. You know, so I'm very grateful that I have this opportunity to do what I'm doing now.
So then, okay, that realization that, okay, you need to be able to influence people. Did you have that when you were 16? Like, were you already influencing people?
Well, I think the first thing that I did was I influenced myself. I influenced myself. I changed my mindset. You know, at that age, everything was. I mean, like, to the people at the age, everything is fun. You know, your hobbies. You know, you spend time with this and that. For me, it's the other way around. I let go of my hobbies when I was 7 years old. I don't play basketball anymore. I put aside. I don't play computer games. I don't do all these things that what a normal people at this age is doing. I let go of everything. I focus finding myself, ask myself how to actually do what I should do so that I'll be way ahead of myself in the next 5 years.
Okay, so then SPM's done. What happens here? Because I know there's the food truck part, right? But
Yeah,
that
it
happens
comes later.
That comes when you're 23, right?
About 20, 21, 20, yeah.
Okay. So we have about 4 or 5 years. So then what happens after SPM?
So when I was waiting for my result for SPM, I went to work for an apparel shop in Spring for about 6 months. After that, I got the opportunity to be involved in this, what we call multi-level marketing. So I was in the multi-level marketing industry for about 2 years plus. I was leading of a group of about 1,500 to 2,000 people. That's where I learned all of my skills there. My skill sets are all sharpened in the MLM platform. So I was one of the young leader in the pack. So from there, I learned to lead people, guide people, and to actually how to do a table talk. So when it comes to table talk, it's more towards like how to close a deal. That's why I learned all the business skill sets, the fundamental there. Then fast forward, I got the opportunity to actually explore the business right after that.
So okay, so you were in this MLM for what, 4 years?
About 3 to 4 years, yeah, 3 to 4
years.
years.
Then the food truck. Then how did the food truck idea come about exactly?
Before we go into the food truck,
Hmm.
should we like? I was trying to think of a way how am I gonna go into the topic where talk about my childhood. Can you find a way to bring it back?
Okay, can.
Yeah,
Like, which
yeah.
part of your childhood do you really want to explore? The part.
Why am I acting like this? You know, why am I?
Okay. Okay. So, looking back at your childhood, right? It's influenced a lot of the person you are, right? Was there something in your childhood that specifically drove the individual you are today, or were there experiences in your childhood that shaped you?
Yeah, definitely. I think the big part is from the childhood.
Hmm.
We came up from a family of I mean, there's 5 siblings of us. The elder sister, the elder brother, and I'm the middle child. And we have 2 younger brother. So it's quite a big of family, but a very limited resources. I still remember those days. You know, those both my parents are normal working adults. They works in companies in Kuching. So amongst our siblings on a similar age, you know, so I believe that it's very heavy expenses on our parents. So we are trained since young that whatever we want, we have to think of a way to get it whatever we want. So the calling was also happened that time that there's one period of my time I told myself that I do not want to put a burden on the family. So I'll just have a simple lunch so that I won't let my parents to spend a lot of money on the lunch for us. So my daily lunch was lifa noodles or bread with egg. That's it. Or fried rice, as simple as that. Once I took the lunch, I would go bed and sleep until the night so I can have dinner with the family. So I think that time, in a span of about 1.5 years, that time, that was my lunch, you know, for that 1.5 years. But it shaped me who I am today. I know that, you know, if you wanted to appreciate something, you must lose something. Then you will learn to appreciate it.
And it sounds like you getting into the food business was very much influenced by this.
Yes.
So, like, I want to be able to
Yeah.
eat what I want to eat.
It's one of the part, yes, it's true. Because sometimes, I mean, like during those days where we look, I mean, like simple thing, just like a can of 100 plus. It cost me almost my 1 day pocket money already. I couldn't afford that 100 plus.
Goodness.
The only way I can get it is to make sure that I have extra money to buy it. So if I'm in the food industry, all these things are supplies.
Right.
You know, I can just grab it whenever I want. Maybe that could be one of the influence. Yeah.
What about your siblings then? What was your relationship like with your siblings at the time?
We are very, very close. I think we are very blessed in terms of this, that in our family, you know, some families, it's very difficult to have a heart-to-heart talk. But among siblings, we are good with that. Me and my brother, my sister, so we are very good in heart-to-heart talks. But parents, of course, you know, you couldn't say much because they have their own mindset. You know?
Correct.
But I understand how they feel, and whatever we do, sometimes if it's hurt someone, we must say it out, then talk it out.
And did you feel your parents had a certain expectation for your career? Like, what were they expecting you to become?
I think every parents wish their children are on the right track. And I told my parents that I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't get bad influence. That is my biggest answer to you already. You know, so since young, I told my parents, you don't have to worry about me. You know, I know what I'm gonna do with my life. I'm gonna know how I'm gonna take care of this family. You know, especially at that young age, when I told my parents that kind of thing, you know, my parents were in shock. They was like, how come my child is like this? You know, like in other words, they say matured. But to me, it's more towards sense of responsibility, because I come from a normal family background. I wish that I'll be able to change this environment and to provide a better environment for my family. And then I know that actually this is actually the real motivation for me to keep striving forward. And the fire never dies.
Oh, so when you look at yourself and you compare, because you have four other siblings, right?
Yeah.
And you are the middle child.
The middle child syndrome.
Right. Like, would you consider yourself like the black sheep of the family?
I think if in terms of decision making and planning, I would say yes. I think most of the time I do make suggestions in changing anything related to the family. I may be the one that propose the solution. I may be the one that propose any ideas.
And your personality when you compare it to your siblings, then how is it? Are you the more outspoken one?
I think among five of us, I'm the most aggressive one. Aggressive in terms of dare to speak, I would say. You know, when I dare to speak my feeling out, like if this thing is not right, it's not right. I don't care who you are. I'm gonna say that you are wrong. You have to accept it or not. We have to speak it out. You know, I'm that kind of person. Yeah. So among five of us, I think I'm the most aggressive one.
Oh, like I suppose that helps in the dynamic of the family.
Yes.
Right. Everyone knows the message is pretty clear.
Yeah.
So now, when it comes to now you going to business, right? You've done with SPM, you're going the MLM track, and you're thinking, okay, I need to do something. All right. How did the food truck idea then start? How did that come about?
I think before food truck, I still remember one thing that I wanted to fulfill. One of my mom's wish is my mother's wish is to see her children graduate. You know, so business is always in my pipeline, but I have to get studies done. You know, it's one of the responsibility as a child.
You had no choice.
I have no choice. Not to say no choice, but it's more to like obligation. It's like a respect to your parents. So I remember I enrolled myself up in a college in Kuching. It's called FAM International College. I enrolled myself up. I think the first thing I asked the counter lady was, hey, you know, how long is the diploma takes to graduate? They say 2.5 years. Oh, I said, how about the longest period that I can graduate? Then they say you must graduate in 5.5 years. No matter what it takes, you have to finish everything in 5.5 years. I said, okay, 5.5 years then. So I finished my diploma in about 5 years. Because I know that I'm gonna build my career before I finish my study. So at that one point, I think I kind of overwhelmed myself. I went back home and I cried. I cried that I brought my mom to the back. I said, I couldn't handle it anymore. Then my mom said, you know, it gets goosebumps every time I say this thing. My mom said, why do you put yourself in a hard situation? I say, I just want to prove myself to you that I'm able to achieve all this. Then my mom said, if you couldn't study, then just drop it off. I say, but I'm halfway through. Then my mom said, of course, every mom's wish is to see their children graduate. Then I said, this is unfair. You know, it's like you must finish your study. I said, well, I'm going to do it for you. I said, I know that it sounds unfair, but it's a very positive unfair. I'm going to finish it for you. I said. So from that moment, I told myself that buckle up, you know, just finish your studies for mom. That's it.
And you did so.
I finished it.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
oh my
you.
goodness. And then when you then presented the certificate, what was her reaction?
I think she was very happy, even though I took some time to finish. But I told myself that this is one of the accomplishments that I did, at least as a child.
And do you feel you learned anything that you could actually apply from the time
definitely.
you're studying?
Even during studies, I told my coursemate, I say, because I believe 40 plus of us in that classroom, I think it's only me, myself, is already started a business. I told them, you know, you guys gonna appreciate school, you know. School doesn't teach you just by its syllabus. There's a meaning behind it, I say.
Mm.
For example, I say, when we do group assignment, this way you shape yourself how to discuss with your partners. How do you get the things done by separating your job scope? There's a meaning behind it.
Mm.
When it comes to exam, exam like, next week is going to be your exam.
Correct.
And you're going to study the whole 6 month thing that you studied in then one shot, then you go in for exam.
Mm.
The meaning behind that is to get yourself prepared and understand what you are doing throughout the journey.
Correct.
That's it. I said it's all about your real life experience. To me, when I look at studies, I look at this.
Mm.
The meaning behind it.
That's a fresh perspective, I think, because some people look at it and they're like, "Oh, what am I learning from school?" Like they feel
Exactly.
like it's
Yeah.
quite impractical.
I think everything happens for a reason. You just have to see from a different angle. I mean, like when we are in university, you got the chance to present your projects in front of people.
Right.
There's a business pitching already. Some people, they look at script. Some people, they don't. Why they don't? Because they understand what they are doing.
Right.
So if you are doing anything, first you need to understand what you're doing. So you don't need a script to do anything, to speak anything about what you're doing.
Yeah. Oh, and then these are the lessons now you're drawing. Wow.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you're the most mature person in your studying class?
I wouldn't say so because I was absent most of the time.
But even though you decided to take the longer time period, was it difficult actually studying?
I think it's not. It's about difficult. It's about whether you are putting heart into it or not. Because it's just a matter of time. Like few months per semester, things gonna pass. You're just gonna see through it and just face it.
And how was your time management at that time?
Oh, it was hectic, man.
Mm.
I juggle around all my time. I think I only have 3-4 hours of sleep every day. And during my earlier entrepreneur days, I don't really sleep because my mind couldn't sleep. It keeps thinking like what I'm gonna do tomorrow. What are my tasks tomorrow? Who I'm gonna meet tomorrow? All these things are well planned during those days. Yeah.
So at this time you were studying, was this already on the food truck was happening?
Yes, the food truck started right after on the first year in my diploma.
In your first year of your diploma. So then, okay, how did that come about then? You're like, okay, how did the idea come about?
I think back in 2015, there's one night I called my brother up. I say, hey, Go, I say, how are you holding up in KL? Because my brother works as a chef in KL. I say, how are you holding up there? Are you able to make some living? Are you having a good life there? Are you able to keep some money every month? He told me it's very difficult, And being a chef, you're not getting a very high basic. It's more towards a service star, all this thing. So I say, then do you plan to come back? I say, because our parents are here, family are here. As a child, you must always come back to the family. I say. Then he said, well, of course he does plan to come back. Then I say, if you were to come back, what are we gonna do? I say, since you are in this industry, F&B then, I say. They say, yeah, F&B. So I say, what kind of F&B? Should we open a shop? They say, no, man, it will easily cost us 150,000 that time to open a simple shop. I was like, yeah, but what is popular in KL back then? I said, he said food trucks. Food truck is very popular in KL. So I said, okay, let me take a look into this industry in Kuching because I don't see any food trucks in Kuching that time. So the next day, I drive around town. I don't see any food truck. I got nobody to ask. I just told myself, you know what? Put this aside. Just get it started. Don't think too much. Start it, and we see what comes next. So the idea was there. Then I called my friend up. His name is Kelvin Chong, one of the co-founders as well. I say, hey, bro. I say, we got this business idea. I want to get my brother come back. You want to be part of this journey. Kelvin was my upline back in those MLM days. So we got very close there. So I told him that, we're going to do this. Do you want to be part of this journey? He said, yeah, why not? I say, if doing a food truck, we might need some capital. I say, we don't have the capital. I say, do you have any way to look for this capital? He said, let me look around. Then I did ask him, I said, why not? Let's ask your mother. Huh?
You said,
I
let's
said
ask your
that,
mother.
let's ask your mother. I said, bring this proposal up, speak to her, let's see what she says. It's not a very easy convincing,
Not at
It's not
all.
very easy. But the figure was 30,000. Why 30,000? Because I thought 30,000 would be enough.
Mm.
So we brought this idea to the mother, talk about it. We tell her how we're gonna settle the money in a repayment form, like 1 year, how much a month, all these things. Make clear, okay, now we got the 30K. What's next? We need to secure a truck, right? So once we got a truck, we have to revamp the truck. We got nobody, but we are very lucky that Mr. Liu, the guy who sold us the Isuzu truck, a very nice uncle. He told me, Tino, you can do this, you can do that, I'm gonna link you guys up with somebody, That's how we get to know the truck builder people. So I tell them that I want to do this into a food truck. But are you guys familiar with it? They say they don't familiar. But they will check with the authorities what are the drawings required for a food truck. Then weeks later, we got the drawings, like, hey, you can actually convert your truck into a food truck, bonded truck, all these things. Yeah, that's how we got our first truck rolling. We got the first truck rolling, 30,000. We bought some machineries, we bought some generators to set up the truck as well. And that's how we started.
30,000 was enough
30,000
for the truck,
was enough.
the machinery,
Yeah.
to essentially modify the truck. And then now you're thinking, okay, we need a menu. I guess your brother, being the chef,
Yeah.
he would
He's
decide
in
the
charge
menu.
of the menu.
And so how many of you were in a team? Was it 3 of you guys?
It was 3 of us and 1 part-time lady.
Hmm.
There's a 1 part-time worker with us.
So, okay. The thing is, right, at the time you faced a number of issues, right? Because I think there was no licensing. Like a food truck was now a novel idea. So
Yeah.
like it didn't exist. So there would be no license for this.
Correct.
Right. And were you guys afraid of that? Because you're thinking, okay, we want to operate this business, we want to have a thing. Where would we put this? How did you decide on where you'd open it? And how were you thinking of the licensing issue?
I think it's very common for something new that it doesn't has any any permit or anything. Somehow, somewhere, someday, someone gonna do something about it. So let's say we are the one that started this thing, and we got the attention of, let's say, a council. That will be the topic for us to bring up. That, there's no regulation. Let's do regulation into this. This thing has a market. We can do this. We can encourage young people to start a business with food trucks. Let's help the young people. All these things comes into a play. This is the wonderful of coaching people. I think I love one thing about this is, none of the parties is trying to, I would say, make you difficult, but it's more towards helping you out. After all, we are still human beings. We are still people to people. Communication is number one. So you just have to bring up the things, see how to find a solution together.
Oh, and this was the thought you guys had at the time. We're like, well, we may not have a way now, but a way will present itself. Wow, that's brilliant. And now let's look at the very first day, right? Because one, you guys are working on the menu, you've got the truck, you've got the renovation. Now, how long did it take from that point till you actually decided to open? How long were you advertising for? And were you confident that people would actually show up? Or because that's very scary, unproven. How do people know your business exists?
Exactly. That's what we call business risk, right? So I think that time we are very much daring is because we got nothing to lose. And we know that this thing is going to bring some hype is because there's nobody else doing. So it's more towards like we are pressing some luck, Let's try it. I say, in the duration of about 2 weeks before opening, we did some our Facebook. We open a Facebook page for our truck. We do those countdown advertisement. Like how many days to go. This thing. Our first day of operation falls on the Malaysia Day, September 16.
Mm.
Right. I mean, double check it correct, September 16. September 16 was the Malaysia Day. It, it brings me a very deep memories is because I remember the whole scene that time. It was a very hazy day, you know. When we drove our truck to the place, I was telling myself whether will there be any customers or not. You know? It's so hazy out there. But quite a shock when we stopped our truck. One by one, those cars parked there. The door opens. I told myself that, oh my gosh, these are the customers. In less than 30 seconds, everyone queue up next to the truck. Whoa, I told myself, we got a business to do now. So we open our truck, you know, we serve 4 hours straight, non-stop. 4 hours. We serve about 300 to 400 packs that night. In a single night.
What was the feeling like after that,
You know,
after the 4 hours?
Every time we talk about this, we got goosebumps, you know. The feeling was fantastic. You felt that you're being appreciated. You felt that everything's falls to what it's supposed to fall to. You know, like ABC, everything gonna fall to ABC, you know. It was a very proud moment for us, and we are very happy that night. Yeah.
Was there a fear that this wouldn't work out? Because, right, I think at that point, right, you feel, okay, my idea is validated for sure. This thing can work. All these people have shown up. But just before that, were you scared? Because I think a lot of people who were in your position, like, I'm going to take a loan, feel scared because, like, what if this doesn't work out? How am I going to pay this off? Was that doubt in your mind?
I think for us that time we do not have this kind of fear is because we got nothing to lose. I mean, 30,000 or 50,000 for a loan, you can easily pay off by just working with people, earn some basic salary and pay money.
That was
Just
a
a matter of
strategy.
time. It was the strategy.
So
That was the exit strategy. Yes, that was the exit strategy. You got no money to pay. Just work with somebody. You're gonna earn some basic salary. Half of that you're gonna pay repayment. That's it. That was the exit strategy. So, yeah,
There was no fear.
there's no fear. The only fear is that I'm afraid that my generator caused nuisance to the people there. Funny, right? Every night I told myself that, oh my god, will those people get frustrated of the sound or not? You know, or the generator sound.
And were there any complaints?
No, they were very supportive. Wow, you guys young people were so good. They all come out and support our business.
Lovely. So then now, okay, first day confirms to you guys, okay, this business works.
Yeah.
And did it continue like that? Or was there a point?
Yes.
And then was there a point where, oh, things became a bit worrying?
Things get more interesting right after that. You know, more and more food trucks came out. You know, we get to have more people in our community. We even do events, food truck events, you know, at the parking lot. You know, I think this one time I invited 7 of us parked together. You know, we post in our social media. For 2 nights, we managed to do about 10,000 kind of people coming in total of that 2 nights.
10,000 in 2 nights?
Yeah, I calculate by the number of sales that we are doing for each of the trucks. It was very overwhelming that 2 nights. It was a weekend night. Yeah.
Oh, so when you started seeing other food trucks coming in now, well, at first, were they selling what you were selling as well, or was it something completely different?
Yeah, there are some trucks selling something similar like burgers. But in business, I never treat anyone like my competitors because to me, there's no such thing as competitors if you treat everyone as a ally. We can help each other in a sense of another way around. I got this idea is because I grew up in Kenyalang, I told you before. Whenever we go to a wet markets or any hawker center, you can see like multiple stores are selling the same items.
Correct.
But you don't see them quarreling over each other. They have their own customer base.
Correct.
Yeah, because everyone, even though they are doing the same thing, but the taste might be different. They have their own customer base.
That's a refreshing outlook, I must say. You're right. Yeah, a lot of times, I think sometimes people hesitate to enter a scene, right? Because they think, oh, wow, this market is saturated already. I mean, that's quite a bold vision. Then NOMS, right? So at this point, the food truck is expanding. At what point do you then decide, okay, we need a brick and mortar shop?
I think brick and mortar shop is definitely a must in the F&B. because we as a consumer, we tend to prefer to dine to a place that's comfortable, with air conditioning, with service, with a better environment. This is what we as a consumer prefer to have. So for NOMS to go into brick and mortar concept is actually another step for us. That is a very bold step. You need certain number of money to actually open a shop.
Correct.
I remember those time. We are very grateful that we have supports from our suppliers and also the contractors. We opened our first shops with zero capital. Nobody believed me. I told them I really started with zero capital. I mean, like for a food truck, how much can you do a day? And how much can you do a month? It's easily calculated already. But to open a shop, to easily spend 100,000 for a shop is very difficult. But I have an idea. I spoke to my suppliers and contractors. I say, you know what? I got this dream. I want to open this. I want to open this shop. I want to bring more people. I want to let people try my delicacies. Help me by making this dream come true. So what I did was to tell them, I'm not trying to borrow money from you, but you do this job, you give me a 6-month installment. That's how I got my first shop.
At this point, you've already paid off the loan, yeah? Like the 30,000
the 30,000 I paid off
Yeah.
the first year.
So now here you're asking these guys
For
give me
100,000 kind of works to get it done.
And what did they say when you first made that request?
They said, go for it.
Which is interesting. What do you think made them believe in you? Because
I think they can see the fire on me, the way of how we do things, how we think and how we make certain decisions of the result that what we have been planning. Yeah.
So when you made that pitch, was it you making the pitch?
Yeah, I was the one making the pitch.
And when it came to the loan, the 30,000 loan, was it you going to? Was it Kevin's mom?
No, I asked Kevin to do that job.
Yeah, that would have been crazy. Then I see that 2021 was a huge year for you guys, right? Halal certification.
Yeah.
And then you decided to move into a dedicated production warehouse.
Correct.
Right. You started making your own signature buns and bread. Why? Why did you think?
I think the biggest decision made was right after COVID. It's during that period of time that among us, we said that, are we going to go big or go home? If we were to go big, strike while the iron is still hot. So that's where we decided to actually, you know what, let's do something about it. Let's go big. So we got into this light industrial house. We got one and we set up our central kitchen there. 6 months later, we realized that it's not enough. The space is not enough. So we got another one next to it. So it became a detached kind of a light industrial house to do as our central kitchen. The reason we moved into self-production is also to maintain the consistency and also to control the volume that no matter how much we want, we are able to do so. Yeah. In accordance with our expansion plan.
And then when you then expanded, I guess you first expanded to Cebu, was it?
I think the first outlet out from Kuching was Cebu, correct? That's one NOMS Cebu.
And how different was that now?
It's a new thing for us, the transportation, the warehousing, the preparation, everything takes place. Now sometimes you just have to kickstart something to learn something.
And that decision then to expand when you went to Cebu, like had you done your market research in the area? Did was it just Cebu? Let's go.
When we started early days, right? I think thinking too much is really not that good for startups, because if you think too much, things wouldn't happen. And we are quite blessed that most of our decision making was actually straight to the point, and it does shows that we made the right decision. I think it could be the gift that we know how to analyze by ourselves whether this location works or not.
And at this point, how many people now are in your team? Because when you started the food truck, 3. Now you moved NOMS Chapter 2 and you're expanding to Cebu. How many of you now? In your team?
Think overall right now we have about 80 plus of us. 80, 90 plus of us.
So 80 plus, and then you decide we want to do nasi lemak.
Hmm.
How? Like, what now makes you think, okay,
You know-
sandwiches are good. We're making our own bread. Let's do something that we see everywhere.
It's a very, very simple mindset that, when you can get people to have breads for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, then we think that getting people to have this rice for these 3 meals shouldn't be a problem, right? That kind of simple mindset. That's how we started the rice menu. We go into nasi lemak. I mean, like, why nasi lemak? Why not chicken rice? Why not chap fan? Why nasi lemak? It's because we think that nasi lemak is one of our national food, that we should actually embrace it. And how we started is we started from stall. The reason we started from stall is because we want to educate people, the Kuching people, to actually have nasi lemak in the morning. We don't really take rice in the morning, am I right? We take kolomi, we take laksa, we take mi sapi, but we don't take rice in the morning. But through stalls, we actually can also do our R&D along the way. People have least expectation on stalls. So if anything doesn't go the right way, you still have the room for improvement. People will actually tell you that, this is not right, this is not wrong, you need to improve that, improve this. Yeah. But if you straight to open a shop, oh no, you're gonna be in a deep hole.
So the stall, how long did you guys before? Because now you see peanuts and anchovies everywhere, and I don't think many people are actually aware that there were stalls before,
Yeah.
and there was this R&D going on.
We were in the stall for about 2 years in 3 multiple locations. Yeah.
My goodness. And at this point, NOMS is firing. It's doing
NOMS
well.
is already doing until Cebu already.
And so peanuts and anchovies, how was that looking? Like, and how were you managing both?
I think it's similar, just that the cuisine is different, but the way of doing is kind of similar. The way of running the shop is also similar. It's more like plug and play, I would say.
So then, now what was I'm guessing since your brother was the chef, was he now coming up with the menus? What were you now doing on the ground?
So my job was to actually build the company. In the other hand, business development. I say business development, like where's the direction gonna be? In these coming years, what we're gonna do? Like, what else we're gonna do right after this? That will be under my care.
And it sounds like that's something you thoroughly enjoyed.
Yeah, I think that fits my personality.
One thing I found really interesting when I was doing my research on this was your nasi lemak, and forgive me if I butcher this, ayam berempah.
Ayam berempah.
You're
Right.
right. And it uses a blend of 13
herbs,
herbs
yeah.
and spices.
All right.
And I guess your buttermilk chicken version was something that you
something unique.
recommend
Yes.
mixing with
the
sambal.
Correct.
Where do you get these ideas? How did that come about?
I think it's more towards, like, when you speak about buttermilk chicken, rice, all these things is very commonly found in our eatery places. But buttermilk ayam berempah nasi lemak is nowhere to be found.
Correct.
So we created this dish, and somehow the buttermilk, when it's mixed into our sambal, it creates this umami that is a very good taste. It's very smooth, very milky, very hot and spicy. This combination comes together.
And I guess that idea was validated when you won the Grab Food 5-star award for
Correct.
best Malaysian food in 2023. When you got that award, what did you think? What was going through your head?
We are so proud about it. We are so happy about it, and we are so grateful about it. I still remember that time when we were in KL to receive this award. When our brand was mentioned right after Village Park, out of Klang Valley, we got the award. Then that's where we told ourselves that, yeah, we're on the right track. Our nasi lemak is not that bad.
And at that point, right, Peanuts and Anchovies now has 6 outlets across Sarawak, I believe, and 4 of them are franchised.
Yes.
Now, what made you decide to go with that model now, the franchise model? And what do you look for in someone to carry that brand?
I think when we go into this approach is because I want to actually see who we can collaborate with, see how anonymous people, I mean like people who we don't know,
Mm.
suddenly become a business partner.
Mm.
How we can actually work things together for that one particular brand.
Mm.
Same direction, different people, but same outcome.
Mm. That's interesting. And I think when advice is given to most entrepreneurs, they say, "Oh, do one thing and make sure you do it well." But
Mm,
it seems like you've been doing like multiple things.
yeah.
Right? How do you manage? Like, what's your time management like?
I think when it comes to this, you must have someone who actually runs the operation for you.
Mm.
In a business, I would say that there must be a thinker, a planner, and a doer.
Mm.
So no, in my dictionary, there's no man is an island. So I love to actually partner up with someone to do something. Even my other businesses, I do have also partners who runs the business. So each of us actually have their own roles in the company. Yeah, that's how we keep the things rolling.
Mm.
So when it comes to my time management, I would say that it's kind of flexible. I like to do what I need to do.
Mm.
So I get up naturally in the morning, wake up, I'll get myself ready, I'll head up. When I head up from the house, I'll visit some of my places, or I'll meet people outside to catch up for business meetings and so on. Yeah.
Mm. And when you look at where you are now and how you started, right? Earlier you were telling me of how you weren't getting enough sleep. Now, do you get enough sleep now?
Oh yes, I do. Nowadays, yes, I do. You couldn't reach me in the early mornings.
I'll keep a note of
Yeah.
that. Then running a business though with like a sibling, right? I think there's this advice, they're like, oh, running a business with your friend, running a business with a
Correct.
sibling is very difficult. But you've clearly made it work. And how? What's made that possible for you?
I think one of the philosophy that um, in myself is that if I couldn't work well with my siblings, what rights do I have to say to people that I'm gonna work well with you? We got no blood relation.
Mm.
How well I'm gonna work with you if I couldn't work well with my siblings?
Correct.
You see the connections there.
Mm.
So I told myself that you have to do well among your siblings first. Then you only have the rights to say you want to partner up with other people.
Mm.
And I think this is also because we are taught since young by our grandparents is that whatever we do, make sure both of our feet on the ground, which means that we don't cheat, we don't steal, we don't lie when it comes of doing things in our normal practice. So we are taught that way. So among our siblings, we understand that this is the culture. And one thing that I'm very grateful is that whenever we work together with our siblings, the ego is always at the door. It's outside of the door. Sometimes when I'm at fault, my brother gonna tell me that, hey, you can actually do better than this. So I will just sit down there and think to myself, reflect to myself, yeah, I actually can do better than that.
Mm.
Yeah. So I do listen. Sometimes vice versa. I'm gonna say something to my brother gonna listen to me as well. Yeah, no matter what's our age, it's just a matter of who is right, who is wrong only.
Mm. Then how do you determine that, right? Say if you're both looking at a direction, but he has one way of looking at it. Your siblings, right? You have your own viewpoints, but
Correct.
you need to come to a decision. And he has one way of looking at things, and you have one way of looking at things. How do you then decide what's the best way?
I think when we do any decision making, right, we must always remember that company interests come first. When we make any decision or negotiation, we will see whether this statement or this matter falls under which departments. If let's say it falls under operation departments, let's say it's under my brother's departments, I'm not involved in that department, but I can only give my 2 cents. You know what? If you're gonna do this, this is gonna happen. If you do this, that's gonna happen. In the end of the day, he still needs to make the call because it's his department. Yeah.
I see. See, like I think these are some of the things you learn with experience
Correct.
over time, right? And when you look at yourself and you look at how you started as the 16-year-old entrepreneur, I could say your entrepreneur journey really started there. And you look at all these outlets you have, how have you changed? What parts have you changed?
I think it's more towards character improvement.
Hmm.
Back early those days, as you can see, a person like me, we are very impatient people. That's why impatient and aggressive, they are coming together as a pack. You know, you're aggressive, you're impatient, you want to get everything done fast. You want to do this, you expect everyone to be as fast as you. But when it comes to business, when it comes to company, you tend to learn that you're working with people, human being. You have to understand that not everyone is on the same page as you. Not everyone is on the same track as you. So you learn to understand from their point of view. Whatever they say, whatever they think, you stand from their point of view, you listen. When I get into business, the lesson that taught me very well is to be patient enough. Yeah. So nowadays, if you tell me that whatever thing that doesn't make sense, I will just say yes.
Yeah.
You are right.
That sounds a bit too simplistic. What if you don't think they're right, though?
Well, if for their point of view it's right, then it's right.
But then if you disagree with it and it's something in your department, I suppose now if it's in your purview, like you said, then you let them know.
If it's relatable to me, things that relate to me, I will definitely defend it. But if nothing to do with me, I'll just say yes, you're right.
Right. Then we're looking at the food business in general. Your story sounds pretty romantic in a sense, like a Disney story, you know? Young guy has a dream, builds it, and I think from the outside, it's like, man, this successful guy. But were there moments in it where it nearly failed, where you thought, okay, we're done?
Yes, there is the moment like this. There's one time during our food truck days, we only sold 1 burgers in a day. It's due to the weather, like heavy rains, all these things, the monsoon season. You know, we thought ourselves that we are done, man. 1 burgers only in a day. And so we thought ourselves that, you know what, buckle up. We're going to see what we're going to do. Business is about solving problems, I would say. So some people, they say business is very busy. When they say busy, it could be a lot of problem to be solved. But to me, opportunity comes when a problem is solved. Just for example, if we are in this room, we feel hot. Then if I come as a aircon supplier, will I be able to settle your issue?
100%.
Yes. That's where I got the opportunity to make some business deal. So it's more to problem solver. The bigger problem you solve, the bigger the outcome going to be for you.
And if you didn't enter into the F&B industry, what do you think you'd be doing?
Well, I think I'm a guy who actually likes to be on the field. If I wasn't in the F&B industry, I think I'll be doing things involved with construction, I would say. I love to see the results. What I have in my mind came into reality.
And if you could go back, right now, if you go back to that time, right, where you borrowed the 30,000 ringgit, there with the food truck, is there something you would do differently from that time?
No, I would do the same thing.
Exactly the same thing. The same journey.
Yes.
Then I'll ask 2 questions then.
Yeah,
All right. You started at 16. A lot of people will probably listen to that and feel like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm 30. I feel like, man, it's too late to start a business. Hey, what would you have any word of advice for people like that?
I think we don't have to feel that way. It's because everyone have their own calling. Your calling is at, it could be different stage of your time. It just happened to be my calling happened when I was young. But I chose the right decision by answering to my calling, which is to sacrifice for the days that I'm going to have in the future. Yeah.
Wonderful. And last one, 10 years from now, what does Avertino look like? What is he doing? And what does the NOMS group look like?
I hope I'm going to be slim. Yeah, that's one of my wish. I hope I'm going to be slim. And 10 years from now, I hope that I'm going to be one of the prominent guy that is born and bred in Kuching, that did shattered something in Kuching that makes a difference. Yeah,
well, you're certainly on your way.
Yeah, and for NOMS Group, I hope that I'll be able to bring this platform out from Sarawak, let it shine and grow throughout any place of the world. Yeah.
Well, more power to you. And
Yeah.
I think the world will certainly be better with more NOMS and peanuts and anchovies
Yes.
outlets. Avertino, thank you so much for
You're most
taking the
welcome,
time to
Lionel.
sit down with us. I'm pretty sure our
Yeah.
audience found that conversation
All right.
inspiring and enlightening. 30,000 ringgit borrowed from his friend's mother, a food truck with no license category to put in it, and a nasi lemak stall that became a 6-outlet brand. 10 years of building, and the story is clearly not finished. If you want to find the NOMS of peanuts and anchovies, their locations and details are in the description below. Please subscribe to Go Talk Studios for more honest conversations. And Avertino, our closing statement. I'll count to 3. All right, let's look at the center camera. 1, 2, 3. Real people, real stories, real Sarawak.